y'all gonna stop talking bad about women with kids. You know why? Because at least you know it's a woman. And I'll leave it at that. Let's go.
360 lipo plus BBL. Before. After. Number 2. Vocal feminization surgery.
Now this is me with my new and improved voice. Do I sound better?
This is me with my new and improved voice. Do I sound better?
Number 3. Laser hair removal. Before.
I don't think y'all understand. Y'all gonna stop talking bad about women with kids. At least you know it's a woman. Do you understand how bad this is? Do you understand how good the procedures are now? Do you understand? Okay? They've mastered this shit. You gonna stop talking bad about women with kids. At least you know where the kids came from. Okay?
After. What are yours?
Let's go here. Let's go here.
Let's talk about all the gender affirming surgeries I've had done and the price. First off, if you're trans, if you're gay, go ahead and like and comment to keep me on this side of TikTok and off the other side. So before I get started, here's a photo of how I looked before I had any surgery.
Y'all better stop.
Photo was taken.
Stop. Y'all need to really, at this point, you really need to stop. Okay? At least you know that's a whole woman that birthed them kids. Because there's shit out here that got waiting for you. You're not going to make it. You understand? There's shit that got waiting for you out here. You're not going to make it.
In 2019 and I was 24. Now, at this point, I was about to transition, but I told myself if I have surgery to look more like a man and I'm happy, I'm not going to transition. This was my last ditch effort and it ended up delaying my transition by 2 years. So in 2019, I had a rhinoplasty and a genioplasty. They brought my chin forward about 8 millimeters and they pretty much refined my nose. Funny enough, I showed the doctor a picture of Lady Gaga for my inspo and he told me, why would you want to look like a woman? Little did he know. Now, I came out of this surgery and I was completely distraught. I couldn't recognize myself and I couldn't believe what I had just done. I ended up having an identity crisis and a mental breakdown that delayed my transition by 2 years, but that's a story for another video. This surgery cost $13,000.
Shit.
Now, I started transitioning in 2022 and I had my first gender affirming surgery in January of 2024. So the next surgery I had was a 360 lipo with BBL with Dr. Calvin Jung. Yes, the Dr. Calvin Jung that did Drake's abs. I actually went to rehab 2 weeks after the surgery and I ended up falling in love. But again, a story for another video. This surgery cost $23,000.
Shit.
Now, the next surgery I had was with Dr. Jordan Deschamps Bradley in San Francisco. What Dr. Deschamps did was he shaved my mandible, he put fat into my face around the cheek area, and he shaved my tracheal. Now, I wasn't completely happy with this procedure, but I'll go a little into it later. This procedure, I don't remember the exact cost, but I think it was in the range of $35,000 to $40,000. The next surgery I had was in October of 2024 with Dr. William Rahal in LA. I had another 360 lipo with BBL. Now, it's not what you think. So he did do a 360 to take off some of the fat that Dr. Calvin Jung left behind, but he actually took fat out of my buttocks. I just felt that Dr. Calvin Jung did a little too good of making me look like one of Drake's girls. So I had a revision. This surgery cost about $40,000.
So we're at easily $110,000. Easily 100 racks on the body. Easily at 100 racks. But let's continue.
Now, the next surgery I had was in March of 2025 with Dr. Tommy Liu in Seattle. So Dr. Tommy
And once again, no shade to nobody, but if makeup is your form of witchcraft, you're fish food out here. This is real life witchcraft going on right now. This is shape shifting at its finest. Makeup is the least of your concern. Okay. Once again, the shit they got waiting for y'all out here. Okay, if shit, God bless y'all. Come on.
Actually revised the mandible shape that Dr. Deschamps' Browley did, and the reason was because Dr. Deschamps kind of left it a little janky. Now I can actually show you because I printed out my skull so I could show what I was talking about to Dr. Deschamps. So you can see on the edges it's kind of jagged, and what this ended up creating was kind of a bulging effect, actually called a step deformity, and it's usually the result of a genioplasty. So Dr. Deschamps wasn't happy about this, and he called me a professional patient and advised me not to revise it. Now, obviously, Dr. Liu disagreed. Hello, Dr. Liu. And I'm so happy with the results. On top of the mandible shave, Dr. Tommy Liu also shaved down my brow bone, brought down my hairline, he gave me an eyebrow raise, and put micro fat grafts into my nasolabial. Overall, I was really happy with the surgery.
Okay, let's stop here. Like let's stop the bullshit. The picture here, none of you would ever suspect this was a man. Stop the cat. Okay? The shit they got waiting for some of y'all out here is beyond diabolical. Okay? This is witchcraft, not the makeup. Not the makeup is the least of your concerns. This is the real witchcraft. Okay? But let's continue.
Really brought my face together. The price of this procedure was about $40,000. About 6 weeks later, I had vocal feminization surgery with Dr. Catherine Young. A lot of people said that my voice sounded fine before, and I even did training with Seattle Voice Lab, but I just was so self-conscious, and it was inhibiting me so badly in social situations. Oftentimes with strangers, I would want to talk to them, or they would talk to me, and I would just pretty much go nonverbal. It was really hindering my life and made me really unhappy. Overall, I'm happy with the results, and the cost of this procedure was about $15,000. Finally, 1 week ago, I had a hair transplant with Dr. Miranda in San Francisco. Dr. Miranda pretty much just filled in my temples, and he also covered up the scar line that was created from the surgery I had with Dr. Tommy Liu. I think it's a little uneven, but honestly, it's no big.
I see what he's saying. It's lower down here than it is here. So I think that's what she is referring to, because it's a little lower down here on this side than that. So I can see it. Okay, but a ton of hair on the head. So unless you're gonna pull back in a ponytail, I don't think most people, are gonna be like, oh, your hairline's uneven. Okay, let's continue.
The cost of this procedure, I think, is going to be $20,000.
Damn.
I'm not going to do the math, but I think the range of all these procedures is around $150,000 to $200,000.
Yeah.
So am I happy, and am I done with surgery? So there are procedures that I'm really happy with, such as the surgery with Dr. Liu, but there are some surgeries that I do regret. Obviously, that surgery I had pre-transition. I was young and desperate to run from my inner conflict, and ended up delaying my transition by 2 years and caused me a lot of turmoil. There's also other surgeries, such as the surgery I had with Dr. Calvin Chung. Now, I love the 360 lipo, but the BBL portion was probably unnecessary. I obviously revised it with Dr. Rahal, but I'm honestly still not happy. It still feels a little too big for my body. But overall, where I'm at now is I'm trying to remind myself not to chase perfection. Surgery is not something to take lightly, and it comes with some very serious risks. Obviously, if I wasn't in so much distress with my gender dysphoria, I would have never gone under the knife. But now I'm much happier, and I feel much more at home in my body. So I try to remind myself to find.
Now, the only thing I don't know is if the person had their phallus removed. I don't know if they had bottom surgery. I don't know. So we may come back and visit this rabbit hole at a later date. But you know what? Real quick, I want to see how the first date went. Let's go here.
I just had my first date in New York, and it was the worst first date I ever went on. So while I was looking for apartments, I had met this person on Reddit who offered to look at an apartment for me. He looked at it, I gave him $20, cool. Kept texting, and honestly, he seemed like a pretty cool guy. He was telling me how he goes out on his own all the time, how he loves New York. He was giving me advice on how to navigate the city. Been in New York for about a month now, and we kept making tentative plans to meet up, but things never worked out. He texts me today and says, hey, I'm actually gonna move out of New York this Friday. What are you doing tonight? So I'm like, okay, I want to meet this guy at least before he leaves, so let me just go get a drink with him. We go to a bar in Bushwick. This man shows up completely plastered. I either knew he was plastered or that there was something wrong with him mentally. Well, things are a little awkward because when you're sober, communicating to someone who's absolutely gone, you're just on two different levels. I sit down in a chair.
Okay, let me stop here. Stop. I just want to see if you
This
had,
is my
oh,
voice
damn it.
before and after.
I want to find a profile. Hold on, let me find this person's profile because I want to know if they've had the bottom surgery. This was him. Okay, this was him. Okay, listen, this is what's out here waiting for some of y'all. This was a whole man with a fully connected beard, with a fully connected beard, and this guy's not an ugly guy. He's not an ugly guy. Okay, this is what's waiting for some of y'all out here. Okay, I'm just telling you what it is. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay, yeah, full ass beard. Okay, so let's see. Did you get bottom surgery? Did you get bottom surgery? How I got a 6-figure job at Apple as a trans woman. Wow. She works at Apple. Wow. Did you get the bottom surgery? Laser hair removal? Did you get the bottom surgery? I'm going to assume they did not, because I don't see anything referring to bottom surgery. So where'd you get the money? People asking where to get the money.
How I afforded almost $200,000 in plastic surgery. First off, if you're trans, if you're gay, like and comment to keep me on this side of TikTok. Want to know all the surgeries I've had and the price? Go ahead and watch my last video. The route that I went to be able to afford all the surgeries pretty much work in college. My first job was when I was 15. I worked at McDonald's and I made $6.90 an hour, which is kind of crazy to think about now that kids in the position are now making about $12 to $15. The next job I had was Walmart, and I worked there from when I was 16 to about 20. I started at $7.90 and I made up to $10 an hour. Next job was when I was a senior in college. I worked at a small company in their purchasing department and I made $11.50 an hour. I graduated college at this point after working from when I was 15 to 21. I had saved about $20,000. I knew the price of transitioning was going to be in the 6-figure range, so I kept this in mind. After I graduated college, I went to a tech company and I started making $50,000 a year. I stayed there for about 2 years and I ended up making about $70,000 a year. Now, when I was there, I had my first surgery. I had a rhinoplasty and a genioplasty. That surgery cost about $13,000. The next job I had was another tech company. I've been there for the past 5 years, and this is when I finally started making 6 figures. I started transitioning in 2021, and 5 years after that nose job and genioplasty, I had my first gender affirming surgery. I had a 360 BBL with Dr. Calvin Jung.
Okay.
Yes, that doctor, $3,000. The next surgery I was planning was facial feminization surgery. I knew this surgery was going to cost almost 6 figures. I'm really surprised that after I consulted, the admin asked me if I wanted to use my health insurance. It had never crossed my mind that health insurance would cover gender affirming care. After doing some research, it became evident quite quickly that my health insurance was not going to just cover this surgery, but all my gender affirming surgeries to come. So I had that surgery in March of 2024. After that surgery, I then had a BBL revision in October of 24. In March of 2025, I had facial feminization surgery round 2. 2025, I had vocal feminization surgery. And finally, a week ago, I had a hair transplant, and insurance has covered all of these surgeries.
Wow.
So I do recognize I've been very blessed and fortunate to end up in a position where my health insurance covered all these surgeries. But I do want to say there is ways to get access to these health plans that doesn't even involve going to college. If you want my insight and guidance.
Okay, let's leave it there. So as far as I can tell, this person did not or has not had bottom surgery. Has not had bottom surgery. I don't see any videos about bottom surgery. Okay. Once again, this rabbit hole is deep. For a lot of you guys, okay, keep on with the woman with the kids and all this and that, and she a little out of. Okay, they got options for you out here, and you're not gonna like them. You're not gonna like them.